Hi guys, and welcome to this video. It's just going to be a little bit of information that I'm given here and how it corresponds with myself. After watching a paranormal channel, they were talking about the attacks along Jersey Shore in 1916. And this is believed where the Jaws movie idea came about. So I'll just start off with in 1916 there was a really big heat wave and everybody was flocking to the beaches and you know, like we do, go sunbathing or swimming in the sea and all that. But in 1916 along Jersey Shore there were shark attacks. Now with these shark attacks, which went from July the 1st to July the 12th in 1916, there was 4 people killed and 1 was injured. The first person that lost their life was on the 1st of July. It was a young man called Charles Van Sant. He was 28 from Philadelphia. He was staying at the Eagle Side Hotel, and before dinner he thought he'd go for a quick swim. There's believed that there was a dog that followed him into the water. So then people started hearing, you know, shouting and what have you, and people thought he was just shouting at the dog to come back and what have you, but no. He was actually being attacked, bitten by this shark, and it actually bit his leg, and it severed his artery, which he bled out to, and I think that was you know, there was no coming back from, as we all know, you know, if it's just artery, then you will more often than not bleed out from that. And they actually he died on a desk at the Eagle Side Hotel just before 7 o'clock p.m. Now the beach remained open, and sightings of large sharks swimming off the coast of Jersey was reported by sea captains, but you know, it was dismissed. Obviously we are talking about a seaside resort where heat wave people are going to go, and these resorts are making lots of money off it. So the next victim was in Spring Lake, New Jersey, 45 miles away, north of Beach Haven, where the first attack happened. And again, a man, Charles Bruder, 27, from Switzerland, was staying at the Essex and Sussex Hotel. Now I just want to pause there for a minute, because reasons why this feels like important to me, why I had to go and research this, was one, my grandfather was born in 1916. Doesn't mean a lot to many people, but he was born in 1916 when these attacks took place. This second victim, Charles Bruder, was staying in the Essex and Sussex Hotel. I come from Sussex, UK, even though this is in America, but I come from Sussex. So there was 2 things that, you know, pricked my ears up. So Charles was bitten in the abdomen, and his legs were severed. They say that the water turned red after that, and the lifeguards went out and actually managed to get him, but he died on the way back to the shore. Now, guests and workers at the Essex and Sussex Hotel and neighbouring hotels raised money for his mother in Switzerland. So then, and this happened on the 6th of July, which is my father's birthday. So that attack actually happened on my father's birth date. Not birthday, his birth date, obviously. So then there was 2 further attacks in a creek, in Matawan Creek, on Wednesday, July the 12th. And this is located approximately 30 miles away from Spring Lake. And there was they thought it was unlikely for a shark attack to happen in a creek, of all places. And there was a sea captain that was walking across a bridge, and he actually told the local people there that he had spotted an 8-foot shark in the creek. Again, he was dismissed. So around 2 p.m, a group of local boys, including young Lester Stillwell. Now, that's the next thing. His name's Stillwell. That's my maiden name, and it's spelt the same way as my maiden name. Well, they were playing in the creek, and one of the boys had taken his dog with them as well, and they're all swimming and having fun, and they thought they'd seen a weathered log, but then they realised there was a fin. And before Lester Stillwell could climb out the creek, he was pulled under the water by the shark. Now the boys ran to get help, and a local businessman, Watson Stanley Fisher, we call him Stanley Fisher, he was 24. He ran to help with his friends, ran to help and get Lester's body out of the water. Sadly, he got hold of Lester. He'd passed, but he had his body, and just as he was coming back to the shore with the body, he was then attacked by the shark too. And again, it was his leg that got bitten. And they're saying that where the shark bit him, it severed an artery near his hip. So he was another one that bled out as well. But they tourniqueted his leg. They got him to a hospital, but he did die a couple of hours after getting there. Then half a mile downstream, the shark latched onto another man, Joseph Dunn. After a tug of war, before Joseph was released, and luckily enough, he survived. So there was the 2 ones that got killed in the main resort area, and then Lester Stillwell and Stanley Fisher both got attacked in this creek and died. And then the 3rd man that got attacked in the creek, he managed to survive. So they did put out a whole lot of because obviously it was the height of the season. People were scared to go into the water. They did actually at the resort, they did put like a wire mesh fence out into the sea to try and stop the sharks from coming anywhere near, so people could still go out and wade in the water and swim and what have you. They also employed armed guards that were on motorboats, constantly looking and looking out for any sharks that were coming in. So yeah, it was a lot of things drew me to this article, and there's when something just clicks with you, it does just click with you. And in fact, the lad that Joseph Dunn that got attacked, he was actually let out of hospital 15th September, which is 2 days before my birth date. So yeah, that's another thing. But there was rewards put out for people to try and catch these sharks. They detonated dynamite into the creek to try and bring the shark to the surface and what have you. Lester Stillwell's body was actually found a couple of days after the incident, and so at least he did get a proper burial. So obviously, as they do nowadays, governments and what have you, they tried to play it down. It wasn't this, it wasn't that, blah blah blah. It might have been a fish, or I believe somewhere they thought it might have been a turtle or something that had bitten these people, but no, it was definitely shark attacks. And this is where Jaws the movie came about, that Steven Spielberg actually did the film on. There are memorial bits and pieces in that area. There's been memorials put up for these people. So yeah, I mean, obviously back then, the war happened, First World War, so the limelight was sort of really taken off these attacks. Obviously, I mean, in the UK, we were already in the war 2 years before this, but I believe where I've read that in America they came into the war in 1916, as I believe. So yeah, I just found this interesting. It all happens along, the Jersey Shore, and I think people had the right to be petrified of, a man-eating shark. So, with that said, that, like I said, there was a shark that was captured, and they opened it, and it had human flesh and bones in it, what have you. So, we have to take it as what they said, because obviously technology wasn't as good then. But yeah, it definitely perked my ears up, and as I saw it on one of the channels that I follow, then it started coming into my stream. Other paranormal channels have actually been there and done some paranormal bits, or just explained the story. So yeah, that's about that for that. But yeah, it's been playing on my mind for a few days, and I kept looking up bits and pieces and what have you. So just a little bit of history of where I think maybe he's some relative somewhere down the line, but there's just a lot of things in there that just the hotel, the dates, the year, the names, So yeah, there was just a lot that really pricked my ears a bit. But yeah, do go and have a look into this if you're interested. But yeah, I just found it interesting. So thanks for listening, guys. Take care. And remember to stay out of the water if there's sharks about. Take care now.